Welcome back. Thanks for checking us out. Welcome to the Premier Mindset by Premier Performance LLC. I'm your host, Trent Mailer, LCSW, and this is episode 13. We have a bunch of information in our show notes. Any visuals that we will include in episodes, we will talk about either in the show notes or post on the social media, so be looking out for both those places to find all that. If you are looking for more information, just let me know. I will add those things into the show notes or onto the social media, and I'll make it clear in the show notes where it is and where to find it if that is what you're looking for. Just let us know. There are videos of the episodes on both YouTube and Spotify. I will share clips on social media, but it's available on those places if you guys want to check it out. Want to tune in that way and watch the visuals as we're going through it all. That can be really helpful, especially for past episodes that are a little more visual heavy. Today doesn't have many visuals, but some of the past ones, they do lean a little bit more on the visuals if you guys want to check those out or rewatch them. We are available on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. If you'd like it to be somewhere else, just let me know. We put it up. That's totally fine. But check it out where you can find it. And other than that, leave us a review, like us, follow us, favorite us, subscribe to us. Make sure to get this content as it comes out. Get the alerts. Get notified. I want to make sure you guys know it's coming out. It comes out every Sunday. We're just going to keep putting it out, putting out more and more information. And the further we go with this stuff, the more we're going to really kind of hone in on certain specifics to really increase that performance that you guys are looking for in your life. It's a lot of general, broad things to start, and that's normal. That's what we're trying to do. We're laying a nice, strong foundation so we can get everything else later. So with that in mind, this is not a replacement for therapy or medical treatment. Those are things that you need. If there's something going on, go get it. This is purely educational. I'm just putting this out there because I want to increase that awareness, let you guys know what you can do, and give you guys some tips and tools that you can try out and see what you think. But go get what you need. Don't be afraid to reach out to people. Don't be afraid to get the help you need in life. It's a good thing, and it usually leads to better things in our life too. I make it a point to give you guys actionable tools to find success in your life. And it's all evidence-based, and it's not just random things I'm throwing at the wall. It's all been researched in different ways, and a lot of times I'm giving you guys that research. I know some of you guys don't want to hear that, and it can be kind of boring, and that's all right. The further we go, the less of the research we're going to get as we're going to get more into things. I just really want to explain the backing of this stuff, and if there's ever a time you guys want more research, you let me know because I got tons of them. If you do want to reach out to let me know about any of this stuff, you can do it in a lot of ways. One way you can do it is through my email at tmailer@premierperformancereno.com. You can text or call me directly at 775-561-0056. You can reach out on the Instagram or just follow us on there, which is premier_performance_Reno. We also have the TikTok where a lot of these clips are going to be posted, and as well as some other videos, which is premier_performance_Reno. And then our Facebook and LinkedIn page, which is, the same name, Premier Performance LLC for both of those. So feel free to check us out on these and follow us on this so you get everything. I don't want you guys missing out on stuff because everything I put out there, I'm hoping it helps you guys out in some way or another. So getting into today, we're going to cover a skill called ABC and just the general idea of increasing life satisfaction. We're going to go into a couple different topics of just how to do that, shifting our perspective a little bit, how we can kind of help get ourselves into a point where things can feel better and we can build ourselves up. And hopefully it's helpful in terms of just creating some happiness and some joy and just making things feel better. Really increasing that satisfaction to make life easier. Because we do deal with a lot of hard things, and if there's never any moments that feel good or feel light, it starts to really grind us down and create a lot of problems. So I really want to help you guys find ways to build this up and make things feel better. So that's what we'll cover today, and we'll dive into it in a couple different ways. But to start, we're going to get into our brain activity because we always do that first. Our brain activity for today is to reflect on your favorite memory. And don't get too stuck trying to choose what is your favorite memory. Just think of a memory that puts a smile on your face. It could be a fun joke, a funny thing that happened last week. It could be a moment from 10 years ago that always puts a smile on your face, that always just makes you feel good. It could be really impactful. It could be really kind of casual, and it just happened maybe a couple minutes ago. But just think of a memory that really puts a smile on your face. And I want you to focus on that with your eyes closed and just kind of focus on that memory. Just kind of sit in it and really let yourself absorb it. The idea of this activity is to really be mindful in this moment, really absorb all of the feel-good when we're in a good time. It can be easy to brush past things when things are feeling good. It's easy to just be caught up on what's next and what to do from here. And this is a way to kind of really increase the satisfaction of things, like really savoring that moment. And it can be tough because our mind's going to drift to like what's next and other things going on. So whenever that happens, you just want to keep redirecting it back to whatever memory or thing you're focusing on at that time. And make sure to try and do it for like 5 to 20 minutes. If you only got 5 minutes, just do 5. That's fine. If you do 20, do that. But you might really enjoy it. It might boost up that happiness in just your day right now, and that might be nice. That might be a nice little break. Fair warning, if you're listening to this while driving, do not do this while driving. Okay? Let's do this when we're safe and we're okay. I don't want anyone getting any accidents or any problems because they're trying to close their eyes while driving. It's never a good idea. So check it out, try and focus on that memory, see what pops up, see how it goes, see how it feels. And it might come up with some conflicting feelings sometimes, especially if you've been going through a tough time, but just let yourself kind of feel what you need to feel and really just absorb that moment, absorb that feel. So give that a shot, see what you think, and that's something you can add into your like daily routine and kind of keep doing as much as you would like. And you could find certain ones to really focus on and build yourself up with. You could find certain memories that you use to kind of reflect on at the end of the day to help yourself go to bed. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can use it, but just that act of really absorbing that moment, being in it, and focusing on it can be pretty powerful. So I want you guys to try it out and see how it goes for you. All right, with that, let's move into the topic. Our topic of that life satisfaction and kind of building things up kind of goes back to the idea of a life worth living and how we can get there. A life worth living is kind of a balance between acceptance and change that helps us get there, but it's about kind of creating a life that's going to feel good to keep doing, that we're not going to just be willing to shut down or want to pull out or having these thoughts of like, what am I doing here? Why am I doing this stuff? None of this feels good. It's kind of building something up that you want to live day in and day out. Building a life that feels good for you, that you're happy about, that you're excited about, that kind of gets you out of bed in the morning and you can't wait to get started. And it can be hard to find it, but if you put the work and effort in, you can get there. And once you're there, it's a lot of just kind of maintenance, like taking care of a yard. You could have a great, wonderful yard. You can put a bunch of time and money into building it up and it looks awesome. But if you don't maintain it, if you don't take care of it, it's going to fall apart pretty quickly. Things start to die. Things start to overgrow. It starts to be a big problem. So keep that in mind. And that harmony between that acceptance and change is a big part of it, because sometimes there are things we need to learn to accept. Once we accept some of those things, it helps us let go of the pain. And once we accept certain things, we can kind of get to work and start to change the things we need to change to make things feel better too. Sometimes we get stuck in situations that aren't working for us and we do need to change them. Sometimes the situation just is what it is and we got to either get through it or we can't really change a lot of it. And we got to learn how to accept it best we can and help ourselves keep going. And throughout doing these things, we end up learning about ourselves. We learn what works for us. We learn what doesn't work for us. And when we're trying different things, especially when we're going through that change side of it, we start to play around with stuff that works for us better than we thought. We may not know how to make our life feel better, but if we try things out, you might find that you land on things that actually work really well, and you're really glad you found. So try and change the things you can change to make things better. Don't try and change everything at once. That's not going to work out well. You want to take it slow, do it one thing at a time. And if there's things that we can't really change, we can't do a whole lot about, try your best to accept them as they are, to reduce that suffering, reduce that pain, so we can get back to building things up. Because if we just get caught up on the problems, because there will be problems, then we can get kind of drained and feel like we don't have anything left to give and just feel that like sapping of that life force that can happen. Sometimes staying in the same situation and not changing anything doesn't fix anything, even if you feel better. So even if we're going through all these skills and you're working on accepting things, that's awesome. But sometimes we do need change. Sometimes we actually need to change up our situation. And if we just stay in the same situation, we're just going to be in pain. Things are just going to hurt. Things aren't going to feel good. We're going to feel like we're not doing enough, whatever it may be. So we really want to be aware and be honest with ourselves. Sometimes this involves talking with a friend or a trusted person to really, analyze our life and where we're at and what's working, what's not, what we need to change or what we could change, because sometimes we don't see things ourselves. But once you recognize what you can change, as scary as it may be, try your best to change. Try your best to change things one thing at a time, one step at a time. Don't go switch your whole life up in 5 seconds. That's too much. That's too chaotic. And see if it just gets better, slowly but surely. And the coping skills will help with doing the changes, because changing can be hard. But we really want to build ourselves up, and we want to have that harmony between acceptance and change, and also have a life that you're creating for yourself, not one that you're just falling into and it's just there for you. With that, we have our skill ABC, which focuses on, kind of building up that life satisfaction, just feeling good in the moment. It's a DBT skill, like we talked about before, that stands for something different for each letter. So the A stands for something, the B stands for something, the C stands for something. So with this, the A stands for accumulate positive experiences, the B stands for build mastery, and the C stands for cope ahead. So if you do these three things and you're doing them on a daily basis, there's a good chance that things are going to kind of feel better. It's not going to fix all your problems. It's not going to make everything magically better, but they're going to probably help. It's going to probably increase some enjoyment. Accumulating positive experiences can help in a lot of ways because it helps create enjoyment. It helps create fun memories that we can look back at, just like we did with the brain activity, where we can really sit in it and just build ourselves up. It can also help by increasing resilience, reducing our vulnerability to negative emotions, improving overall well-being. These experiences can lead to just a more fulfilling life and enhance your ability to cope with adversity, because if we're in adversity, while it's going to happen, if our whole life is adversity, it's a lot harder to deal with than if we have a lot of bright spots in there where things feel pretty good. They've even done a study in the past looking at people thinking back on fun memories and things that just put a smile on their face. And they showed in that study that it had the same impact on the body and on pain relief as a shot of morphine does. So this stuff can be really powerful, can really help us in a lot of ways. So just having those positive experiences, having good times, having fun, building these memories, enjoying your time with friends and family and people close to you, can really help us out, not only in that moment when you're enjoying it, but also when you're looking back on it, when you might be going through a tough time. I know it sounds a little weird, but it does have that emotional impact on pain, because a lot of pain goes back to perception. That's why it can be so impactful to feel the same effects as a shot of morphine. So we really want to help build ourselves up and have this long list of things that we could look at and sort through and just focus on when we have the need for it, to just feel good and build up that life and just enhance our ability to cope with things when they're happening. Positive experiences benefit us and create a life worth living, because positive emotions from positive experiences can help reduce stress, it can help reduce distractions, and it allows us to focus on the present moment, which can lead to greater clarity and focus. It's kind of building to that premier performance, helping ourselves perform at the highest level. The reason for that is the better you feel, the less stressed you are, then the less our mind's going to wander, the less distractions that pull our attention, the greater focus and clarity we can get. We can literally focus more on our goals and getting things done if you're just feeling good. If you're not, you're kind of all over the place, the mind's hard to control, it's bouncing around, things aren't in good spots, things can start to fall apart a little bit, and it can also activate reward pathways that literally lead to us in that moment feeling good. Maybe you guys have felt that before, thinking back on a memory that just made you smile. Maybe it happened during the brain activity, or just really sitting in it made you feel pretty good in that moment, much more than you thought you would. Because these things can get activated when we start going through this stuff and thinking about it, just like we can have things activated in our brain when we're thinking about really tough things and traumatic things that have happened. Positive experiences have their own ways that they compare too. There's a lot of different ways to get positive experiences, and there's a lot of different things you guys can try. There's like millions of ways to do it. Sometimes it's just doing something new with a couple of people you like. It can be just that simple. And I know sometimes it's hard to get started of like, what should I do? I'm not sure what to do. I haven't done this before. Maybe we're not even sure who to do it with. That can always be tough too. There's a lot of stuff online that you could look into to explore this stuff. Sometimes it's helpful to just lean on someone else's list of things that they've done, and you can slowly start to create your own once you see what works and what you like. Kind of get to know yourself a little bit more. There was a woman a couple years ago for New Year's that she made a New Year's resolution to do a new thing every single day for the whole year, and she actually did it. That's pretty intense dedication to do it every single day. And she posted that list online, so you could look at literally what she did every day that was new to her and how she kind of experienced it. And it was big things some days, like, doing beekeeping, but there was also days where it was little things, like watching a movie she never watched before. And this doesn't mean just go watch a new movie every day for the rest of your year, and that's you doing new things. Like, yes, new movies, new things is great, but we need variety too. We need to change things up and do different things, and sometimes we got to do stuff with other people too. So you could even look at her list and lean on that and even just copy it. You could make your own list like that. You could just look up a list of just different things you could do and just go through that list and try them out and see what you like, see what you don't. You could look up list of activities in your area, just like things you could do. So like we're in the Reno area, you could look up like, hey, what can I do in the Reno Tahoe area to kind of enjoy myself? And then just go through a list of things. You probably find a lot of different stuff out there. And you might find some of those feel really good, and some of those might be a little much. So try it out, see what happens. A great way to find people, if we're having a hard time finding people to do these things with, is to kind of look for either groups or interests that are going on in the area that you could get involved with. You know, a passion could be a good thing too. So like if you're really interested in Frisbee, maybe you join like a Frisbee golf club and you're kind of hanging out with people, you meet people through that, you get to share that interest. Maybe your interest is golf. You go to a golf course, you join a golf club, you know, you join a class, whatever it is, kind of talk through those things, get to be around other people that share those similar interests, kind of build yourself up. You know, passions can be awesome too, like volunteering somewhere if you really care about something. It could be working somewhere, it could be joining a hiking club. You know, really anything that is going to lean on an interest of yours, something that you like, is a great way to introduce and meet people around you. Because if they like the same thing as you, even if you have no idea what to talk about or how to build a conversation or build this friendship, you could talk about that thing you guys are doing, whether it's hiking or swimming or, you know, volunteering, anything. So it kind of gives you some things to talk about already. It takes that legwork out of trying to figure out what to talk about, so we're not sitting there trying to talk about the weather or something. You can get more in depth with something and kind of learn some things and start to build that connection and bond with people. And then it kind of nicely leads into just doing things together because we're already kind of doing that. So like if we meet someone at a golf club, I mean, you can talk to them about hitting a round of golf together at some point, and then you go out and do that. You spend some time. Maybe it's a fun time. Maybe you guys just do it more and more. Maybe you do it once a month. Maybe you get some lunch every once in a while, and then before you know it, you got more friends. You can do more things with. Sometimes it's hard because it does involve putting ourselves out there, and I know that's not always easy to do. But in all honesty, most of the time when we do it, we're glad we do it. We're just kind of scared of the fear of judgment, the fear of what other people might think, worrying of how it's going to go, worried of what we might be judged by with what we're doing, like how we're hiking or how we're golfing, these kind of things. Like we're really hypercritical of ourselves, and we forget that not everyone else is hypercritical of us the same way too. So we just got to put ourselves out there. I know that fear is there, but the more you do it, the easier it gets, and the more glad you are that you did it. If you're still having some trouble with it and you're still just not sure, I mean, you could even ask any of these AI bots just like what to do. Like you can go on ChatGPT and just ask like, what should I do with my free time? This is where I am. This is what I like to do. And it could give you a whole list of things to try out. You know, don't be afraid to lean on these AI aspects a little bit. They're becoming more and more ingrained in our society, and they're probably not going to stop. They're probably just going to keep growing. So we could always use those things too. They can be great spots to really explore ourselves and who we are and what we're trying to get done. And that can really help just come up with some ideas that we haven't thought of. And sometimes it's nice to just sit and think, but sometimes it's nice to kind of have some answers thrown our way we haven't considered and kind of think off of those. So just explore getting some things done, trying to get out there and see what you can do. I mean, accumulating a positive experience could be something as small as just watching a sunset. So if there's things that you enjoy, make sure to do those things. And just be willing to try new things and see how they go. And I mean, that kind of goes into our next one too, that building mastery, which is just getting good at things. It feels good to get good at stuff. And the more we do it, the more we see that we can progress. We have the ability to get better at things and learn. And that can feel really good and kind of build up that self-esteem too. It's also pretty cool because we tend to learn new skills, right? Like if you want to learn the guitar, you, at the end of the day, put the time and effort in, and now play the guitar. You can maybe play a couple songs, whatever it is. That might feel really good. It might feel good to think back on how far you came and that it went from something you had no idea even how to tune the guitar to now that I can just rock out a song real quick, and that can be kind of fun. This can be a nice way to connect with people too, because we can get some help from people. People can teach us things. We can learn things from people. We can take classes on things. And we can show this stuff off to people too, because a lot of times people like seeing these things and like experiencing these things. So anything that you're interested in, anything that catches your attention, we can get better at it. If there's anything that you've ever wanted to do, well, this might be a perfect time or a perfect call to just go do those things. Like if you want to go learn how to go kite surfing, well, let's take a class. Let's see how that goes. You might meet some cool people there. You might learn how to do it and love it. Now you got this new hobby that you do with new people in your life, and we're just kind of slowly building up that joy. And a little bit of joy every day leads to a lifetime of joy. That's why we want to build these things up and see how far they can take us, because they can make us really happy and really help us as we're going through our life and just make life more full of bright spots than struggles and stresses and trying to get through them. Sometimes we just get so caught up in the grind of getting to the next day that we forget about enjoying ourselves, and before we know it, 30 years pass. But don't be afraid to stop and have some fun every once in a while. That's the point of life anyways. We gotta enjoy ourselves. We can't just be here to do tasks until there's no tasks left to do. That doesn't work out super well. And with whatever you're doing, even if it's hard, even if it's complicated, even if you've never done it before, even if you're scared, you're never going to be good at it. If you put time and effort into it correctly, sometimes we got to learn how to do things the right way, but if you put that time and effort in, you will get better at whatever it is with time. You will. That's just going to happen. So don't be afraid to lean on things. Don't be afraid to try things out. And at first, there's going to be frustrations. There's going to be things going wrong, and we kind of need that. That frustration signals to our brain that it's time to learn something new, and it starts changing up pathways and opening up to learn new things and new skills. So we actually need that feeling of frustration when we're learning new things. Don't be afraid of it. Embrace it. It's going to lead to good stuff for you. And it kind of goes back to like why get better at stuff in general. Sometimes we want to just hold on to what we do. We just kind of get to a place where it's like, this is what I know. This is where I'm at. I'm just going to keep doing this stuff, and it's going to just be the same thing. And if that's working for you and you like that, that's totally fine. But getting better at stuff can provide numerous benefits, and sometimes it's nice to just grow a little bit and see how it goes. It can increase our problem-solving skills, ability to figure out what's going wrong, how to learn this thing, how not to learn this thing. That can be helpful in kind of all areas of life. It can enhance our well-being by unlocking new opportunities because we get more things we can do. We can try new things. We can accomplish goals we never thought we maybe were going to be able to. It can boost our self-confidence, like I said. It can improve skills that we're working on, whatever that may be. It can lead to greater happiness and fulfillment in various aspects of life because life feels more full and it feels like we have more things going on, more things to lean on. And the more things you got going, the less you're going to feel bored and not sure what to do with yourself. So that's going to be pretty cool too. Mastering things, like building that mastery, can help change us and help build multiple skills all on top of this stuff too. It can also help us with patience and problem solving. Like we talked about, just having that time to get through a hard, difficult situation and figure out how to make it through and get things working the way we want it to work. That can be a pretty awesome skill, and you may have seen in your life that there's not a lot of people out there with patience that can really last super long. Sometimes we meet people that can just be patient and sit in things for long periods of time, and it's pretty amazing to see. But I think a lot of us are kind of on edge, and we're going through the rush of everyday life, and we're just trying to get things done, and we don't always want to wait for things. And we see that in a lot of different areas of our life already, whether it's waiting for food or waiting for something that we're trying to get in the mail, whatever it is. But building up that practice of patience and putting in time and effort, just showing up, that can really help. And that's going to be really beneficial with career advancement as well, because not only is getting more skills helpful for your career, but these aspects of building patience and problem solving can bleed into our career and create that premier performance because we're able to perform at these high levels and get things done in ways that we didn't think we could. On top of that, it helps us trust our ability to adapt and to change, to adjust with things that are going on. And with how fast the world's changing with all the technological advancements that we have coming out, that ability to adapt is a pretty amazing thing to have in your corner. And building it up now might be something you're really glad you have. So don't be afraid to be willing to build up your ability to be flexible and learn things, try things out, build yourself up as a person, and see where these things go. You might be really surprised at how well it can go. You really let yourself get into it, and who knows, you might find your new favorite thing to do just by trying something new this week. So try stuff out. Try and get good at things. Try and practice things. Even if it's just a couple minutes every day, you're going to see progress. You're going to see things change. Going to the next part, the C, which is cope ahead. We cope ahead because we sometimes need to prepare for upcoming hard things that may challenge us. And we want to keep in mind, we want to look at these things as challenges, not as threats. If we look at it as threats, it breaks us down. But we can still prepare for challenges. We can still set ourselves up to deal with these things. Some of these challenges could be things like trauma triggers. Like a trigger that's going to remind us of a trauma that we've been through, kind of send us back there, send us through it again. Sometimes we got to cope ahead for that to prepare so we don't get kind of pulled back into our past. Sometimes we got to work on things so we can get through it and it doesn't pull us back the same way. Sometimes it's problematic situations, like things coming up that you're worried about. Maybe it's a conflict with your boss that you're going to have to deal with, have like a conversation. Maybe it's a situation with a coworker that's just not going well. Maybe it's a situation with your car that's just not working out. You're trying to figure out how to navigate. It could be kind of anything. And with it, you just want to think ahead a little bit. We don't want to get stuck thinking about the problem. We just want to think ahead a little bit of what can I do to make this situation easier for me later. How can I take care of it? So maybe it's creating a couple plans. Maybe it's reaching out to people to get some support. Maybe it's kind of running through a if this then that kind of situation in your head, so you have an idea of what you're going to do if something does happen in the upcoming situation you're thinking about. It could be kind of anything, but you're just kind of preparing for how things may go, almost like you're thinking ahead to an event and planning just what we may need. Like if you're doing a planned picnic and there might be some wind coming in, there might be some rain that follows in later in the afternoon. Maybe we're going to bring some things to make sure we can tie some stuff down. Maybe we bring a couple umbrellas just in case the rain comes in a little sooner than we thought. Whatever it is, it's kind of like that coping ahead. You're just like preparing for what may happen. And why I say I don't want us to get stuck in it is if we just get stuck on what could go wrong all the time, that's going to break me down too. We don't want to ruminate in it. We just want to kind of give it that quick glance of like, what can I do? And once we kind of give it that thought and think it through real quick, come up with a couple ideas, we want to go back to what we're doing and get out of thinking about whatever that thing may be. Because if we get too stuck in that, it's going to become a problem. There are a lot of different examples of coping ahead. I talked about a couple of those, but I mean, some other ones could be like preparing for a test in school and practicing. Literally like running through flashcards or doing practice tests, just kind of building yourself up, getting ready for what's coming. You could be doing a role play of an interview that you're not feeling super comfortable with a friend, just so you can kind of play out how some questions might come across or how you could answer them or how you can kind of hold yourself in that interview. And getting that practice and getting that chance to really try these things out and help us kind of toss out the ideas that aren't working out too well and kind of just grease all the joints up so things kind of move in smooth ways and they work out how we want them to work out. It could be also making a plan with a trusted person to go somewhere you might find difficult, like going to the mall if you have social anxiety. Maybe we bring a friend to kind of just be there and be a support so I don't have to feel super overwhelmed the whole time, and they can be a nice distraction as we're going to the mall and dealing with all these people. So it's just different things like that, just helping you get through life, helping you go do things, and just holding you in a spot where you can get the things done you want to get done. Because if we don't cope ahead, if we don't prepare for these things, sometimes we just avoid the stuff altogether, and then we never get done what we want to get done, and that leads to its own set of problems. So we just want to try and do this best we can. If you combine all three of these things, the accumulating positive experiences, building mastery, and coping ahead, you can get a lot of really great things done with it and kind of create a lot of amazing experiences for yourself. And the reason we want to do all of these things is they work really well together. When we accumulate positive experiences, we have lots of enjoyment. We get fun, great memories to look back on, people we care about. That can really boost up that just general joy in our life, which helps us feel better, helps increase that life satisfaction. When we build mastery, we increase our self-esteem, we add skills to our resume of life, and that helps us just feel like we're more in control of things, we can get more things done, there's not things holding us back, that we can keep growing. One of my favorite quotes is be comfortable being uncomfortable, because when we put ourselves in these spots, as uncomfortable as it may be, we tend to grow, we tend to build from it, so that can be pretty amazing. We want to really do that best we can. And just feeling better about ourselves, feeling like we can do more things is always going to help us in life. It can be pretty awesome to feel like you got a lot of stuff behind you, and you don't have to do different things all the time. You can really just hone your skills on things that are important to you and really sharpen like a couple skills to feel like almost like an expert with it. That can be pretty amazing too, and that can lead to that premier performance. But we just want to be aware that that's not the only way to do it, and we don't want to do new things every day either, because then you're not going to get a chance to really build a mastery. So kind of finding that balance and finding what works. We also want to cope ahead to set ourselves up to succeed when things get hard, because they're going to get hard at some point. We can't always foresee everything, but we can kind of help plan ahead and take care of some things. And this is where that balance is key, because we're not going to get to everything. We're not going to see everything coming. But if we can set ourselves up enough to get some things done and prepare for those hardships, some of the hard stuff might be a little easier to deal with, and we might surprise ourselves with how much we can kind of protect ourselves from by just preparing ahead a little bit more. So think through these things, think about how you could use them in your life, kind of reflect on it a little bit personally for you. Reflect on which aspect of these three feels a little less taken care of than the others. Maybe the positive experiences part is pretty easy for you and you already do a lot of that. So let's really focus on the other two. Maybe all three are just kind of brand new and we haven't really explored those much at all. Maybe we've been so caught up trying to cope ahead constantly that we haven't done anything with positive experiences or building mastery. It could be any kind of combination. So just see where you're at with this stuff and see how you can get yourself into a good spot with it all and see how it feels. I think a lot of you guys would really enjoy it and would feel pretty good if you guys got to explore these things in these ways. So try and find what you need to work on, what things already are feeling pretty good and you're happy with versus what things you want to add to. And let's see if we can really increase that life satisfaction, just make life feel better. There are some other things that go into life satisfaction that I want to jump into. One is which I talked about a little bit, and that is passion. Passion is a strong liking or desire for or devotion to some activity, object, or concept. Passion is very important in our life for a lot of reasons because without passion, we kind of get this feeling of like, what are we doing all this for? We're doing a lot of stuff. It might be a really long grind sometimes. So if we don't have a passion, if we don't have something we're working towards, it can feel like the same thing day in and day out. It can really start to break us down, cause some problems. And there's a lot of mental health issues that can start coming from this stuff too. Not to mention you're not going to be performing at your best if things aren't going well and you don't like what you're doing. We need to have passion in life because it creates that sense of purpose. Passion can change in our life. It doesn't always have to be one thing. And you may have found that you're doing something that maybe you were passionate before with, but maybe you're not with anymore. And there's a lot of different ways to do it. But you really want to build yourself up and help you find that purpose and what to work towards. Because when we don't really have something we're working towards, we can feel lost, and that can create a lot of problems. If you don't know what that passion is, that's okay. Sometimes all we got to do is just try new things and see what really clicks for you. That goes back to just being open to new experiences and trying new things and trying to build up those skills and see what you think. Maybe your passion in life is going scuba diving. You've never even gone scuba diving. Like, that's kind of the idea of just trying these new things. Maybe you go scuba diving one day and it clicks and it's like, this is the best thing I've ever done. And you just devote your life to doing it. And then all of a sudden you start doing that as partly like your job. And think of how fun life could be if we can take our passion and have it connected to our job and how we're paying our bills, because now you're enjoying what you're doing on a daily basis. And a lot of times we get caught up with that myth of just like grinding it out, doing something you don't really like for 40 hours a week to get a good paycheck, and then you can enjoy yourself on the weekend. But it doesn't really work out very well, and we can't really do it for long periods of time. Honestly, the best thing to do is just to find something you love to do and do that thing and try and find a way to get paid for it, even if you've got to get a little creative. This is kind of the basis of some midlife crises sometimes. Is what happens is people get so caught up in life, they're just doing things to pay bills, and they're doing things that they should or they think they have to, and they get so caught up with everything going on, getting married, having kids, building up a career, trying to keep in touch with friends, that they just don't really check in with these things, and they hit like 40 or 50, and they start thinking about how much they've done in their life, where they're at, where their life's going, and they start freaking out because they realize that this isn't the life they wanted to live. So let's try and find that purpose, let's find that passion, because if we can really jump into that and focus on those things, it's going to give a whole lot of meaning, and it's going to feel pretty good in your life and just kind of pull you back from just any of these crises that could pop up on you. A sense of purpose is the feeling that your life has meaning, have direction, and goals. It guides our actions and our behaviors. And it's more than just daily tasks. It involves a deeper understanding of what matters to you and what you want to achieve in this world. We all got one life, and we're trying to figure things out best we can. We may not have all the answers, but if we can find the things that we love to do and we can do those things and you can feel like you're working towards a purpose, it's going to feel pretty fulfilling. It's going to really increase that life satisfaction. A strong sense of purpose can contribute to well-being and positive mental health in a lot of different ways. It can really help us get to that performance. Because in all honesty, it's going to be incredibly hard to get to that peak performance if you're doing something you hate doing. That's just the truth of it. We have to enjoy this stuff. We have to have fun with these things. And if you're not having fun with it, we've got to ask ourselves why. Maybe we need a break. Maybe it's just been too much. Maybe we just need to do some other things. We need to balance it out. Maybe this thing used to be my passion, used to be my purpose, but it's kind of draining on me now, and I'm not interested in it anymore, and I want to do something else. That's okay too. We change as people, and our goals and our whys can change. But we don't want to get caught in just doing stuff just to do stuff. We got to enjoy ourselves. We got to build up life and make life feel better. We also have struggles that pop up, and they're not necessarily bad, and that's why I want to talk about them, is I really want to point out that they can be beneficial things. When we go through struggle, we are growing in some way. That goes back to that idea of being comfortable being uncomfortable. We don't grow if we just stay in our comfort zone. And it's not saying let's just sprint out of that comfort zone and go do something really out there. It's let's slowly get outside of that comfort zone and slowly show ourselves what we can get done, what we can do, and just grow in these ways as we're going through these. We can't avoid struggle, and if you try, it ends up making life pretty restricted and pretty tough, and you miss out on a lot of that feeling too. So we got to kind of embrace it when it's there and see what lessons we can really learn from it, what we can squeeze out of it. Because if you kind of look at it with that good mindset of like, bring it on, let's take this and see what I can get from it, you might be surprised at what you can get from it, what it does for you in life. We have to face what comes our way, and we got to grow through what we go through. We can't stop it all, but we can gain things from it. We can own it. We can make it ours. So try and look at it in these lights when these struggles do show up of like, this is going to help me get better in some way. It's going to help me figure something out. Don't be afraid of the challenge and find ways to gain from it. There's always going to be a silver lining somewhere. I know it's kind of a cliche, but that's why it's a cliche, because it's true and everybody talks about it because everyone has seen it. There is something good you can take from a bad situation, and there always will be. You may not want to look for it. You may be pissed that there's something good in this really bad situation, but that's still the reality. See if you can find that silver lining and see if you can find a way to grow from what you're going through and see how you can build yourself up to be a better person and a better version of yourself each and every day to really increase how you feel about your life in general and how you feel about the legacy you're leaving behind. You also have a big need for social connections. Social connections are crucial for overall well-being. As they contribute to improved physical and mental health, they also increase lifespan and a stronger sense of belonging. This can really help with doing things, doing the positive experiences. Some moments are only, those positive experiences when we're doing it with people we love, enjoy spending time with. We could do something really nice and fun, but if we're doing it by ourselves, it might be relaxing. It may not have the same hit as it does if we're doing it with those people that we love. So be aware of finding people in your life that are worth holding on to and building those relationships up with them. And things will go wrong. There's no relationship we have where things don't go wrong. It's going to happen. But we got to build through those things. We got to build that bond. Because if we just, stick in things while they're good and then once they go bad, we bail, we got to keep building up new things with new people all the time. And we're starting fresh constantly. When we have good people, they're worth holding on to. It's hard to find good people. So try and work through problems when they're there. Try not to just start things over and, just kind of shut down and say, I don't want to do this. Try and just keep going with it and build these things up. We need people to lean on, and we need to do things that work. So on building these things up and building ourselves up to do the work that we're doing, it can really help us get things done, feel good about ourselves, feel proud of what we're doing, and people in our life can really help us build mastery of things that we never thought that they knew or that we could do. Those social supports reduce our stress and anxiety in a lot of ways, and they can help individuals cope with challenges. So we got to really lean on these people and help build ourselves up. And if you're struggling with that stuff in any way, the episode we go into relationships with, it'd be a great one to check in on and see if you can get some stuff from it. We really go in depth about building those relationships, whether they're friendships or romantic relationships or anything in between. See if you can get something from that, see if that helps out at all. And if it does, awesome. And if you have questions or any struggles with that stuff, you just let me know. And we can figure that out too. Another part that is pretty important to us is needing somewhat financial stability. I say somewhat because I don't want you guys getting so caught up in doing this stuff all of the time. Sometimes we get too caught up in the money aspect of things, and that doesn't super help either. So we want to find a way to build ourselves up enough to take care of things, to manage the stress of it. Financial stability only goes so far. While we can buy a lot of cool things and do a lot of cool things, which can be awesome, the big thing with this is we want to really reduce the stress of financial insecurity. We want to make sure we can pay our bills. We want to make sure we can take care of things, that we can take breaks when we need to take breaks, that we don't have to feel like we're on edge, barely pulling through every day. And that can be tough. There's a lot of different ways to do it. Financial stability is crucial for individual well-being and economic prosperity. It provides a foundation for managing those daily expenses, planning for the future, and navigating unexpected events. That can all manage our stress and help us not go through more threats and worry that everything's going to fall apart any second. A financially stable individual can reduce stress, focus on personal goals, and feel more secure in their financial situation. So it kind of creates that security and it helps you just feel good and be able to lean more on like what can I do to build up my life and not just focus on getting through every day and making enough money to pay all the bills. Because if any of you have dealt with that stress of finances before, especially where the economy is right now, I'm sure you may have felt it one way or another. It can really distract us from everything else we have going on, and all of a sudden it's just our main focus and everything else goes out the window. So having that financial stability and having that taken care of can give us the space to focus on things for us, to build ourselves up as individuals, to feel good and have a good time and enjoy ourselves. It does not need to be super wealthy. It needs to just be enough to live your life. We want to have room and space to do the things you want to do. We don't have to have just piles and piles of money, but we just need to have enough. If you have issues with this area of your life or you feel completely lost with it, talk to someone to learn about your personal finances, as it creates a good foundation. So if you don't know about this stuff, if you've never really explored, financial literacy or understanding where you're at or your situation, or you're not sure how to get out of the situation you're in, meet with a financial expert and see what they say. They can really help in some awesome ways. And someone in your life may do some of these things. You can connect with them and have them help you out a little bit. I mean, there's a lot of people that work in finance. So just see who's out there, see who you can connect with, see who you can get some help from. And if you don't want to share it with anybody in your life, you want to kind of keep it to yourself, because I know it can be a source of shame sometimes, try and reach out to somebody that does it for a living and just connect with them. Someone that's good with finances, whether it's like a good CPA or, like a financial consultant or any of these things, it's worth the money to get them involved to help them help you out. Because if you're trying to do it on your own and you're just totally lost, it's probably just going to get worse and you're going to find yourself in a spot you really wish you weren't. So just jump on these things, rip that Band-Aid off, just take care of it, get yourself in a good spot, or at least create a plan to get yourself to a good spot. Because once you're there, you can really put that focus on the things outside of this that matter more to our happiness. Because that foundation of financial stability is good, but it only goes so far. Money can't buy happiness, but it can make some things easier. So we want to make things easier so we can go find that happiness through all these other aspects that we're talking about in our life. And we can do that. We just got to find the right way to do that. And sometimes just starting with that foundation of let me just take care of these stresses and make sure that this isn't a big concern for me can really help you get to a point where you're now kind of moving forward. With a lot of this stuff, recognition is the first step. If we don't know what's working or what's not working, it's really hard to figure things out and build things up. So we've got to be aware of these things and where they're going. We got to be aware of what's working, what's not working. We got to be aware of where we need to build things in our life and where things are just okay where they are. So try and check in with yourself. Try and reflect honestly of what's okay, what's working for you, and what's not. And we can kind of slowly start building up through that. If you're having any trouble with this stuff and you're not sure what you can do, you can always reach out and let me know, and we can talk through it a little bit together if you'd like and see if I can ask some questions that might kind of shine some light on where you want to put your focus. And this is something I'm offering to you guys is more of like just a free let me know what you need, and I want to kind of help out. Because it's not like I'm trying to, just build clients through doing this stuff. I mean, my clientele is a pretty small list, so I keep it pretty limited because, the service is a pretty premium product, and I'm trying to keep it just minimal enough that I can put entirely my focus into the clients I'm working with. So when I say reach out to me, it's not saying like, oh, you got to, start working with me in any big way or anything like that. It's just I generally want to help however I can. So I can ask questions, I can answer questions, I can throw little things out there, I can point you in a direction. I just want to kind of make life easier for you guys. So if there is anything that comes up or there's anything that you're not sure how to talk through or not sure what to do with, just throw it my way. Just throw me a DM or shoot me a text, whatever it is, and we can just talk through it really quick. I'm super open to helping out however I can. And, if you are interested in kind of getting into the premium service a little bit more, you let me know. We can talk about what that looks like, but, it's just a limited thing. So you guys let me know what works best, but don't be afraid to reach out if there are things going on. I do want to help out however I can. If you have people in your life that you think could benefit from this stuff, send the episode to them. See if it helps them out. See if they kind of give it a shot, get something from it that kind of helps build them up. Because the goal is getting this stuff out there best we can to as many people as we can. And I just want to help make life easier for you guys. So if that's going to be helpful and some people might gain something from listening to this stuff, well, let's get it in front of them. That's what I want to do. Is I just want to put this stuff out there for the world to hear. If it was helpful in any way, leave us a review. Let me know. I like to hear these stories of success. I like to hear how things are working. I like to hear what is working. And if things aren't working, or if something isn't going well, or there's something that you don't like about it all, let me know. I like hearing about all these things. It does give me some great things to work on, and I just want to give you guys the best product I can give you guys. So any insight from you guys is always super helpful, and I love staying in touch with you guys too, so feel free to do that. With all this stuff, I make it a point to give you guys actionable tools to find success in your life. So especially with the tools, I want to know if they're working or if they're not. And I like knowing which ones work for who and why. It's just kind of cool to hear and cool to see. And I like hearing all the success stories. It's always super fun to hear. And if we're not finding success, if you're struggling, don't be afraid to let me know too, because if we tweak a couple things with how you're using it, you might find that success isn't as far away as you think. If you do have any of these things to share, you do want to reach out in any way, you can through a couple different ways. You can do it through email at tmailer@premierperformancereno.com. It's the email. My last name is spelled Mahler. You can text or call at 775-561-0056. We've got the Instagram at premier_performance_Reno and the TikTok premier_performance_Reno. And the Facebook and LinkedIn page, Premier Performance LLC. So follow us on all these, check us out, send messages, DMs, whatever you got to do. Do it through all this stuff. I'd love to hear from you guys and help out however I can. I've already loved working with who I've worked with so far. I just want to do more of it. So you guys reach out and let me know how things are going. Next week, we're going to keep going with some of this stuff because we're really kind of going into finding that passion and purpose and building ourselves up so that life feels better, and it also helps us get to that premier performance. We're not going to get to the premier performance if you're doing things you don't like. We've got to find joy in what we're doing to get there. If you hate what you're doing, it's going to be almost impossible. So next week, we're going to talk more about passion, how to find it, how to get there, and also finding that flow state in what you do so that we can really, succeed in some amazing ways and really put out like that highest level of impact that we can. So check this stuff out. Keep on following us. Keep on checking in as we keep going with all of this. Try what you heard about today here and see if this stuff helps out. Just build up that life satisfaction and just remind yourself of the ABC, because that ABC can really be a great map to navigate and kind of build that compass as you're moving forward. I hope you guys have a great week. I hope you guys reach that high level and reach that peak performance with what you're doing. Put yourself out there, face those fears, do the best you can, and have some fun along the way. If there's anything I can do to help or any way I can kind of answer any questions for you guys, let me know. Otherwise, we'll keep going next week and just keep releasing these episodes every Sunday. I hope you guys have a great one, and I will see you soon.